listens to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
Nursery, hello, welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Windibank, and today we're going to be taking a look at Melodifestivalen. And once again, yes, we're now ankle deep into Melodifestivalen season. We had our first heat in Malmö back on Saturday, and coming up tomorrow, we have our second heat in Gothenburg. So we'll be taking a look back at Malmö, a look ahead to Gothenburg, and seeing exactly what's going on in the world of Melodifestivalen. So back on Saturday, Melodifestivalen opened with our first heat in Malmö, the first of our brand new format, only 6 songs, hosted by Carina Berg. Of course, everything with Björn Gustafsson and Christine Luck all came up, so that was very entertaining for a lot of long-time fans and just a lot of Swedes in general. We also had the return of A-teams coming together on stage for the first time since 2004. I say coming together, they mined it, but they were very good, and they've currently got the most viewed video of this year's Melodifestivalen on the Melodifestivalen YouTube channel, so that seemed to go very, very well. The songs we had last week then were Adam Wood's Supernatural, Samir and Victor, Hella Varden Vontar, Melina Borglo, Min Melody, Elisa Landstrom, Forever Yours, Lisa Ajax, All for Liar, Smash It to Pieces, Heroes Are Calling. Out of those, Adam Woods and Elisa Landstrom went to the final qualifier round, which is, you know, the new equivalent of the semi-final, Andrew Hansen, or whatever you want to call it. That's going to be right at the end of Heat 5. And Lisa Ajax and Smash It to Pieces went directly through to the final. Now, if you want to catch up on any of these songs, please remember that you cannot listen to the 2 direct to the final songs. Those are not available until the end of Heat 5 with all the others, whereas the second chance songs, the final qualifier songs, and the eliminated songs can be heard. So you cannot hear Lisa Ajax, All for Liar, or Smash It to Pieces, Heroes Are Calling. And you can only replay the show on SVT Play for just 2 days after broadcast. So if you want to go back and watch the show, you cannot do that until after Heat 5. So of course all this went through. That also means we lost a few as well. So we lost Samir and Victor, Hella Varden Vontar, which was a bit of a surprise considering Samir and Victor were very popular. They're very well known in Sweden, very well known in Malmö's world, and they all came back for this. But I think there was the case that people thought maybe they were past it, the song wasn't too strong, and also the fact that their vocals were questionable to say the least. And then poor Melina Borglo as well. Melody, that was eliminated. It was a very pretty song, a very nice song, but Melina herself did not have a very high profile. She wasn't very well known, and the song sort of just found itself in the middle of the running order with nothing too interesting about it, and against all these other songs it seemed to get lost and ended up right down at the bottom in last place. So coming up this week we have quite a few different artists. So while last week seemed to have nothing but returning artists, this week a lot of them are in fact debutantes. So while Maria Sir, for example, is a returning. She was just in last year's contest in Melodifestivalen in 2023, and also Liamoo, who was in the contest before that in 2022. Everyone else is brand new to the world of Melodifestivalen. So if we start at the beginning of our running order and take a look individually at each of the songs we've got coming up. At the very beginning, we have Maria Sir, When I'm Gone. So just like in the first heat where we had 2 returnees from last year, Maria Sir is a returnee from the previous year here. However, her song can be more different. Last year she had quite a big, fairly generic but well-constructed ballad, which very much was honing in on the fact that she is herself a refugee from Ukraine. She was on talent shows in Ukraine and was beginning to have a music career in Ukraine, and then came to Sweden at the outbreak of the invasion and resumed her career there after she had talks with Sara Dawn Finer, who you might know as Linda Woodruff, and she ended up being able to launch her career there. And here in Melodifestivalen, she's back for the second time, but this isn't the same Marisa. This is not Marisa who is talking about not giving up, talking about being a refugee. This is Marisa here with a banger. She is here, and When I'm Gone is a proper dance song. It builds and builds and builds and then drops. It's like nothing you would have expected from Marisa, and I think is going to do very well. The way they've staged it is completely in line with what you'd expect. It's blue, it's cold, it's got lasers, it's almost reminiscent of what Marcus Martinez did last year with Air, but this time it's sort of a diamond-like, and it's choreographed, and yeah, this probably will go very well for Marisa. I'd be very surprised if she's not direct to the final. The second song in the running order is Norrland by Engmans Kapell. Now, this song is quite interesting. It's a heritage act, but it's very much got that sort of Schlager-esque feel, but with folk instruments. So there's no electronic production, no orchestra, none of that, but with folk instruments. But they've very much got a Schlager chorus, and this is very much going to be appealing to the televote, to the older age categories, and yeah, they could do pretty well, as you'd expect with these sort of folk entries. Like, for example, Hullabaloo, which was a couple of years ago. They've staged it just them on stage, folk instruments in front of them, and orange lighting, which seems to be the general feel for folk and country song. So much there's that orange lighting, there's confetti that comes down. It's all very well done, but it does feel like it's probably going to end up non-qualifying just from its position, from the competition it's got, from that kind of things. It could potentially get to a qualifying round, and I hope it does, because I really enjoy this, but I think expectations should be managed on this one. Next up is Dear Sarah, The Silence After You. If we're saying sort of a folk country feel, we've got this bit now in a very modern context. We've got a girl on stage on her own, singing sort of a mid-tempo pop song. It sort of sounds like a early mid Taylor Swift song, potentially. So maybe a little dated if you're going back 10 years or so, but it still, I think, hasn't dated enough in the way something like dubstep would or something like that. I mean, it's very much still compatible with chart music, still compatible with modern music, and I think this one could end up doing quite well in the same sort of way that Lisa Ajax did last week. It's staged, big purple lighting, big LED graphics just on stage on there, and it begins with sort of a sort of moon ball thing. It's a bit Anna Bergendahl-esque, I say, it's a bit Taylor Swift-esque. It's a bit sort of Danish, for want of a better word, but I think it really works, so keep your eyes on this. Come On and Shake Your Body, yes, song 3 is Ahumma by CJ, and it is our Afro Bop of the year. It has those brilliant African chants, but also with that sort of World Cup-esque type song. It's very much, it's rousing, it's got the stuff the Swedish crowds love in that arena, and I'll be very surprised if this is out of the competition. I think this probably will go to the qualifying round, but this definitely could potentially go directly to the final, and I would not be annoyed if it did. I think this is great fun. I think this, again, will work the crowd so well. CJ seems to be a talented performer. The way they have staged this, it's a bright, sort of multicoloured African patterns. They're all in white on stage. It's choreographed. This could do very well. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It was just 2 years ago that Liamoo wowed us all with his very cool, very confident pop song Bluffing. And now he's back with something quite different. This is very much reminiscent of sort of YouTube compilation videos of TV clips, that sort of music you'd have on there. It's very much sort of big chorus, stompy work, sort of with cuts, like it's trailer music, that kind of thing. It's very interesting, and it probably will go through. I think it's very high production. It could do quite well here, but it's not what you'd expect from Liamoo, and I think that has to be kept in mind. Potentially the audience could be disappointed here, or they could be very happily surprised. Staging wise, the fire is out here. This is orange, this is fire, there are flames everywhere. There's a flame bar on the floor, there's flame bars at the sides, there's flames pouring in and out everywhere. There's a flame on his hand. So really, this is all about the fire, this is about the stomping, this is about the cuts. The music video for this, if there is going to be a music video for this, is probably going to be absolutely insane. Costume-wise, Liamoo is definitely going for sort of the voting with the eyes, with a vest with exposed arms, very sort of similar to what maybe Andrew Lambrou had last year at the Eurovision Song Contest. So I think this probably will go direct to the final. Finally, to close the show, we have Unga and Fria by Fröken Snusk. Now, this really is the folk heat, because this is the third folk song in here, but there are no different types of folk songs, but it is like folk songs batter them out. With Norrland, it was very much traditional folk band. With Dear Sara, it was very much folk pop of the 2010s. With this, it is something entirely different. It's very much traditional Swedish folk with the hardest, bassiest dance beat you've heard. The chorus is very much reminiscent of a sea shanty, which was very in vogue recently in TikTok and such. This will go wild on TikTok if it goes to Eurovision. This is a lot of fun. I think this will definitely get the younger votes. I think even though the appearance might surprise all the viewers, is going to get the older viewer votes. I'll be very surprised if this does not go direct to the final, or at least to the qualifying round. This, in my opinion, is perhaps even a proper contender to go to the Eurovision Song Contest for Sweden. Fröken Snusk are definitely one to watch here. So that's all the songs we have coming up in this heat. We do know a few more details about the show, so we know we'll get a few more inaugurations into the Melodifestivalen Hall of Fame. They are Christian Luuk, who hosted the show a few times, and Carina Berg's ex-husband, as we found out very clearly in the previous show. And also Lotta Engberg, who was at Swedish Eurovision entry in 1987, will also be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So remember, Melodifestivalen Heat 2 in Gothenburg is on Saturday night. That is tomorrow night if you're listening to this on the day of release. And it'll be broadcast at 8 o'clock in Sweden, at 7 o'clock in the UK. So remember to tune in for that to see who will get through to the Melodifestivalen final, who will get through to the qualifying round, and who won't be going anywhere. So remember to follow us on all social media you can find. Follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Music, follow us on Amazon Podcasts if you want. Go to our website, subscribe to us, do whatever you want, and remember to vote for the music. Goodbye.
This is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you both for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.